Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries, and in this video I'm going to be reviewing Strange Stars by Trey Causey. And I'm looking at the PDF of Strange Stars, which is approximately 30 pages long. I came to be reviewing this when I saw it mentioned on a Google Plus conversation by John Till, who is writing a Fate companion for the game. The main Strange Stars book is system neutral, i.e. it contains no rules, but there is a companion, as I said, being done for a Fate game and an OSR game. It's available on RPG Now for $17.95 US. That includes both a PDF and a soft cover book, although you can get them individually for slightly less. And it's about £12 in British money. Now, initially, this does seem a little expensive, I'll be perfectly honest with you, for a 30-page book that doesn't actually have any rules in it. However, having read the PDF, I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised and impressed by the amount of different sci-fi genres and tropes that have been melded together into a single coherent book and setting. The book feels almost like a primer or a tourist guide to the setting, providing just enough detail to pull you in and make you want more. It starts with a brief historical overview covering the 4 ages of human space, and these are the lost ages where humanity rose on old Earth and its first faltering steps into space, an era that in the present of the setting is shrouded in mystery and misinformation, where much, including the location of old Earth, has been lost. The next era is the archaic Occamant, where a great civilization arose, built on the ancient relics of the past before collapsing and fracturing into a myriad of self-governing worlds. This was followed by the Long Night, where after the collapse, civilizations were isolated and strange cultures, including the enigmatic Xur and the strange, sadistic, faceless ones, rose and fell in human space. We then move on to an era just prior to the modern day of the setting called the Radiant Polity, where the Radiant Polity, an organisation which claimed guardianship of the various tribes of humanity, arose and through its control of the hyperspace network dominated interstellar travel and trade. Eventually the polity was torn asunder, and from its ashes rose the modern age. The book then goes on to describe the various categories of sentient being, or sophonts as the game calls them. These cover biologics, which are biological organisms, moraveks, which are sapient robots, and infosophonts, digital minds independent of physical form. Each chapter of this book is littered with colour pictures and sample character write-ups to illustrate the various parts of society and areas under discussion. The section on space travel, which comes next, is no different, giving details on Stellar Starlight, a starship captain. Each picture is accompanied by very interesting box outs that give more tantalising glimpses into related topics, in this case salvage and ancient starships. This chapter is followed by other chapters covering the main areas of space in the game, and these are the Alliance, a group formed following the collapse when 7 peoples united against lawlessness and control by outside forces. The Instrumentality, who are a theocracy and spiritual descendants of the Radiant Polity, who control several systems and seek to spread their message to other worlds. The Corward Reach, which is the frontier of known space, currently under attack by what are called the Locusts, a spaceborne cloud of alien self-replicating machines that devour any world they encounter. The Vokan Empire, which is an area held in the grip of the Vokan people, once terrifying conquerors, now slowly sliding into decline. The Zuran Expanse, once the cradle of humanity, now a lawless zone containing many fragile and damaged worlds. And finally, the Outer Rim, a sparsely settled region of insular worlds. Each of these chapters contains a sample character and a short write-up for each of the major races in the area. These are all imaginative and are inspired by different sci-fi sources, some of which will be obvious to fans of science fictions and others not so. Each chapter also details the major planets and provides a rough hyperspace map of their position in relation to each other. The hyperspace maps are interesting in that they keep the distances sort of hazy, using a colour scheme to suggest which routes take the longest to travel in relative terms. I quite like this because it leaves the GM free to determine the exact time travelling takes and thus tweak the feel of their setting, making it more cosmopolitan with systems mixing and regular travel, or more isolationist as they see fit. Chapters on nomads, pirates, criminals, hostile species and psi powers follow, each taking up only a couple of pages but fitting a surprising amount of information into each, with them following a similar format to preceding chapters. The book rounds off with a handy pronunciation guide. I'm always a fan of games that use odd terms, including these, and a number of random tables that allow you to generate the contents of a space hauler, valuable artifacts, people someone once found, drugs in an epic stash, and exotic locales. Again, these tables have no rules, but they're useful for spurring on ideas when you just need something on the spur of the moment or quickly. Initially, I was a little sceptical of this PDF since a page count of 30 seems very small for the price being asked. However, if I've learnt one thing from one of my favourite systems, Fate Accelerated, it's that the size of a book doesn't necessarily dictate its worth, and the same is certainly true with Strange Stars. The author, Trey Causey, has managed to cram a vast amount of information into the 30 pages and create a setting that draws from many diverse forms of science fiction, providing enough information that a canny GM could run numerous types of game, but without ever going into overly complicated amounts of detail. Now, this won't be for everyone. Some GMs who prefer having everything spelled out for them may not really be fans of this approach. Personally, I like a setting that gives me an overview, but then trusts me to do the rest. Strange Stars is part framework and part grab bag of ideas that you use to support telling your own tales of daring do amongst the stars. The book is also visually striking, with each page being in colour and all of the pages being filled with striking visuals. Overall, I'm very impressed with the book and think it has ideas that would benefit anyone planning to run a sci-fi game or who has ideas for a game and needs a backdrop for it. I can't wait to see the Fate Companion for Strange Stars, which, as I said, is being written by John Till. Until then, the author has some great stuff on his blog, which I'll put a link to in the description, including links to preview material on the Fate Companion and links to another blog containing conversions to Savage Worlds. I think, whilst it's not the cheapest PDF available, it is worth the price that's being asked for it, and I've certainly no hesitation in purchasing a copy myself. I've ordered a copy of the PDF, which, as I said, is what I've reviewed, and I'm currently awaiting the delivery of my softcover colour version of it, and I can't wait to grab the Fate Companion for it and run a game in this setting. Although, to be honest, I think I could pretty much run a game in it now using just the main Fate books and the system neutral setting book, and I'm sure the same would be true of any other system that supported these science fiction ideas. So I hope if you've enjoyed this review, you'll consider clicking on the red dice up there and subscribing to my channels and giving this video a thumbs up. If you have any comments, as always, put them in the comments box down below or hit me up in the Google Plus links. I really do enjoy reading what you write. So until I see you in my next video, take care and happy gaming.